Alright, God-Pharaoh's Gift. This was a combo card when it was in Standard, and we've got some new tools for it in Historic. We've tried a 60-card variation of this archetype before. This is our first time trying it with Yorion the Sky Nomad and 80 cards. So God-Pharaoh's Gift, very powerful artifact. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie, and it gains haste until end of turn. So, this deck has a pseudo combo kill in it that, while the combo kill is not infinite, it's generally sufficiently large enough finite. Bionic Broccoli, thank you for the 33 months in the tier 2. So how the combo works is you get God-Pharaoh's Gift into play, and then you return Combat Celebrant to play, who attacks, exerts, and gives you another combat step. Then, at the start of your next combat step from that, God-Pharaoh's Gift triggers again. You get back either another Combat Celebrant or a Vizier of the Many Faces, copying your existing Combat Celebrant, attack, exert the new one, untap the other one, start combat again. Then, beginning of combat, you get to trigger this again, and get another Celebrant or another Vizier of Many Faces, and you repeat until you're either out of Celebrants or until your opponent has died. Now, how do we get a 7-mana artifact into play? So this deck has not one, but 2 ways to cheat God-Pharaoh's Gift into play. The first is just Gate to the Afterlife, a card that's designed to get God-Pharaoh's Gift. So you can pay 2 and sacrifice Gate to the Afterlife and search your hand, graveyard, or library for God-Pharaoh's Gift and put it directly into play. But you can only activate this if you have 6 or more creature cards in your graveyard. So to enable Gate to the Afterlife, we play self-mill cards like Sister Supplier and Merfolk, Secret Keeper, as well as things like Chart of Course and Champion of the Wits to kind of churn through our deck and get creatures into the bin. And then we play things like Kite Sail, Freebooter, and Ravenous Chupacabra as utility cards, but are also creatures to meet Gate to the Afterlife's ability. Then we also have a jumpstart card, Scholar of the Lost Troves here, which is a 7-mana 5/5 that says, when it enters the battlefield, you may cast, target instant, sorcerer, artifact from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. So, because we have this self-mill, draw, discard theme to enable Gate to the Afterlife, we also have Scholar along with Unburial Rites here to return this to play for 4 mana, and then, in part, also getting back God-Pharaoh's Gift. So if we mill Unburial Rites, Scholar, and God-Pharaoh's Gift, Rites puts Scholar into play, Scholar puts God-Pharaoh's Gift into play, and then God-Pharaoh's Gift gets to start making things from there. So let's go ahead and jump on into some games with this, and jump on into it. To enable a bunch of bad cards, this is definitely a synergy deck. That being said, the payoff for our synergy is higher than the payoff was for the synergy in the cycling deck. Like, making 4/4s every single turn tends to be very good. Well, I can see Murderous Rider being an okay card to play if we just want more interaction. Murderous Rider doesn't shuffle back in when you mill it, right? So it's not too bad. No, please don't Thoughtseize my Combat Celebrant. It's a combo piece. No, leave it in my hand, opponent. Don't take that one away. Rats. The reverse psychology didn't get him, chat. So the opponent's archetype we played against the match before this was going around on Twitter. And this is exactly the style of deck that, like, big brain Magic players love to play. So I expect we're going to play against a lot of this today. I am knowingly and happily a small-brained, big combo Magic player. God bless. Just magic Twitter silence. Someone posted a result with it. It made the rounds through everybody that retweets Decklist. It was on my Twitter this morning too. Expect to see them gain 4 here. Yep. Expect we'll see them, like, Yorion themselves here. Really? What are we hoping to, like, draw Wrath of God? Seems loose. That seems much worse than playing their own 4-5. What's their win con? It's... like, you saw Yorion and you saw, like, their cards were literally in play that were their win conditions. So, like, it's always so weird to me. People are like, there's always got to be, like, some fancy flourish. Like, they just, like, attacking with the 4-5 and, like, dealing 4 damage with their enchantment that was in play. Like, and so people like, what's the control deck's win count? Well, it's the creatures that were in play and the things that deal you damage to you. Something that's a concern when we're playing this is we have to keep a certain density of creatures. So that way we can activate Gate to the Afterlife. Yeah, Misery is also a win condition. Kids these days don't know you can win games of Magic by just attacking with all the busted stuff that's been printed. Something like that. Like there isn't just like, there isn't like a novel big flourish in every deck, right? Well, you still have the icon next to your name, Reaper. Usually it's like 30 days on the dot. So like if you used your Prime Sub in the middle of the day last time, it'll be ready to renew in the middle of the day. I took my Champion. Kind of surprised I didn't take my Stitcher Supplier. How is Jeskai cycling? We played it for less than an hour. That's great. That is a good tweet, right? Talking about resubs, thanks for the 3/4 viewer, Gabo the Green. By the way, for folks that enjoy the Hooglandia Opens, the next Open is posted and available for signups. Obviously, you don't need to sign up in advance, but you're encouraged to. It's going to be a standard Open immediately after rotation. Interested to see how signups go for that. Arena technically rotates on the 17th, so I feel like there's a chance that we might struggle to get a decent number of people since it's happening so closely to rotation. We'll see though, hard to know. Grafdigger's Cage does not stop God-Pharaoh's Gift or Eternalize. It does stop Scholar and Unburial Rites though. Ashiok. Ashiok will do. Our mana base has not been particularly kind to us so far today. I mean, keeping track of my wins and losses, Esper has a high win rate against me because my self-respect kicks in and I start valuing my time. Sounds about right. Got 2 creatures in our bin. Three creatures in our bin. Looking for a self-mill card here, like another Secret Keeper. See, chat, the biggest of brains. 4 mana loot. World's worst careful study. Ashiok, exile your graveyard. Alright, we got 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. So we get to activate this next turn. Ooh, that's actually really good. So, do I get back Chupacabra then? I could get back Kite Sail and pick apart their hand. They're gonna get to Demonic Pact to kill it though. I could get Scholar of the Lost Troves to get back another God-Pharaoh's gift. I think I'm just supposed to do this. The problem with the second God-Pharaoh's gift is their way to remove it is likely Deputy of Detention. So second God-Pharaoh's gift doesn't really insulate against that. It depends on how many things you have, D-Baker. Oh, Vizier can copy their deputies. That's a good thought. I'm so used to the more common clone templating that we've had recently, where you can only copy your things. The last couple of clones have been only copy your things. Oh, that's a good thought. If deputy's a problem, we could get Gate, because Gate gets... Yeah, I like that. Gate would insulate us. Yeah, it's a good suggestion, because I could do this at end of turn. Yeah, this is not a sorcery. I like that. That's real nice. So... I think I'm going to use this to mill 6 to start. So, I was going to sacrifice my Stitcher supplier before going to combat, but Arena is a release-ready piece of software that didn't give me the opportunity to do that. So here we are. As away from the computer, it can only dock you now. Harsh but fair. We actually haven't milled any Combat Celebrants yet, right? Oh, I don't get to discard. If you do discard... I thought I was going to get to just discard 2 cards, but I definitely don't. That's sad. Narset stops me from just even getting to discard to begin with. That's frustrating. Yeah, it says if you do. Alright, so we're dead. Because they're going to get to reset the demonic packs. The demonic packs burn us out for 8 next turn. Yeah, we don't have red mana to cast the thing. That's why I thought I would get to discard. I sacrificed my 2-1 because I thought reanimating it, even though I couldn't draw, I could just discard 2 and then reanimate the Combat Celebrant and then win that way. But apparently I don't get the option to discard if I didn't draw. The way those things are templated. Nah, our deck's probably just bad in you. Don't feel bad about playing your good deck. Gosh, if only there was some way to find out what exclamation point podcast means in my stream title. If only there was some type of thing in chat, maybe a computer that could post a message when prompted for specific input. That would be really convenient. We'll have to come up with something like that for the future. If only the technology is just not quite there yet. Who's got 2 thumbs and is ready to die to Embercleave? This guy right here. If we don't die to Embercleave here, we could have a real shot. Alright. They even discarded the second Embercleave for the Rubbins. For the Rubbins. I think the opponent's archetype is super underplayed on the ladder, at least in the anecdotal samples that I've been playing. The red-black aggro deck was one of the best performing decks at the Open last weekend. Like, Sultai Ramp won the tournament, which is what people who are lazy at a glance will take notice of, but as a whole, the Sultai Ramp deck had a very average win rate, and the black-red deck way outperformed it. Yeah, it feels like everybody on the ladder is just like arms racing with like Field of the Dead and Esper, and just like Ember cleaving people is probably a much better way to approach the format. I know if I cared about winning right now, I would be playing their archetype. Sultai Ramp had a lot of people playing it. Yeah, so did the Rakdos deck. Rakdos deck was also one of the most played decks. Rakdos, and Ramp are both the most played archetypes. I mean, you're never going to win everything, Bowser Koopa. Like, again, saying the deck's well and going to do well means you're going to win, like, 55% of the time, 60% of the time if you're good at Magic. Magic's a game where every deck is going to have a lot of non-games. That's just a feature of the application. Feature of the core rules engine. Hey, those are some good hits. Been to Sphinx. Big agree that this format would be better with fast lands. Yes, you can spend your turn killing my 0/4. The Abzan company deck and the company decks in general that Crokies are working on are excellent big brain decks. I agree. If you want to feel smart while playing, honestly, the company Citadel decks are probably, in my opinion, the most competitive big brain decks in the format. Like, they're decks that have a lot of lines and are tricky, but also have, like, powerful linear draws to them as well. This is, I think, part of why this archetype that the opponent's playing isn't heavily represented on the ladder. The opponent's archetype definitely isn't a big brain deck. It's not a feel smart Magic deck. It's a deck that's just good and efficient and kills people. Yeah, so we Vizier the Dino. The Rotting Regisaur can discard the God-Pharaoh's gift for us. This might also be a quick set, and I might add a fourth deck today. I'm gonna take out some of the trash from the deck queue. Yeah, the opponent's deck, I think the variation on my website is 3. That was post board, but I think they have 3 Ashioks in the main with a 4th in the board. Life Guardian, thanks for the 22 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Dr. Mr. Punny, let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for the generous tier 3 and for the 12 months at that. This deck probably needs refurbished to make it work. I just like, and again, like, comments like that are ones that why it's so fantastic and important to dissect and talk about why you're losing the games you're losing, because it is unfathomable to me that anybody can watch those games that we've been playing with this and losing with this and say, yeah, refurbish solves the problems that we've been having, because it doesn't. Not in the slightest. If anything, I think if refurbish existed in this format, I think there's a very good chance that refurbish is much worse than just playing Scholar. I think Scholar is likely, the Scholar Unburial Rites package is likely just better than playing refurbish. Our deck's been losing because it's been getting picked apart by efficient interaction and getting run down by people that are more linear than us. And refurbish doesn't really help with those things. This one, right here in my hand. The only Scholar in the deck list. Yeah, Scholar Unburial Rites is literally refurbished that you can self-mill into. Yeah, like, we literally lost a game where we had 3 God-Pharaoh's gifts in play. Like, Again, that critical thinking is so important, where you like look at what you're doing and talk about why it's not working. Like, what are the details? You know, as the format gets its feet under it and has more people playing things like red-black aggro, like blue-white aggro, like Sultai Field, like the very efficient Esper deck that we played against, like as the format gets min-maxed some more, there'll be less room for random brews. Because the power level of what your deck needs to be in order to be competitive goes up as the format becomes more optimized, and that's natural. So, you know, we played something close to this last week, and it felt kind of okay when people were experimenting more, but now that, you know, we've run into, like, you know, 4 optimized decks in a row, and we've not felt particularly competitive against any of them. Mr. Photon for red, white, hollowed one. Sounds fantastic. Extinction Event and Cast Out sound good. Ravenous Chupacabra is probably not good against their piles of indestructible things. Although I think I need the creature density. I'm going to cut the Charter Course. We probably don't have time to screw around with that. Yeah, that's what this red-white hollow one deck is, right? Yeah, it's a Flourishing Fox hollowed one aggro deck. So I'll get added to the queue tonight after I sign off. That's why when, like, people often come in on, like, day 1 or day 2 of a new format, and they're like, well, Jeff, is the format sweet? My answer is always like, well, they're all sweet when we don't know what's going on, right? Like, formats being brand new is like Christmas morning. How do we win the game from there, Rad? What do we do with the extra turn that actually lets us win the game? I got bad news to everybody that's upset with Field of the Dead in this format. If your deck can't beat Field of the Dead, there's probably half a dozen other decks that it's also not going to beat because your deck's not good. So we've got Scholar and we've got God-Pharaoh's Gift here. We're gonna get to turn 4, put God-Pharaoh's Gift into play. So we'll get Unburial Rites, Scholar, and Scholar will cast God-Pharaoh's Gift. And again, then it becomes the question of, well, is accomplishing our thing good enough? That's the big question we have to be able to answer. It's like, okay, we're going to do the thing, but is the thing actually competitive? Because, like, that's the two parts, right? Like, it's not just can we accomplish what we're doing, but when we accomplish what we're looking to do, is it good enough to win the game? Hey, Jack, thanks for the 27 months. Which deck is that? The blue-white enchantments? Shouty Jeff, something like that. Think we just popped the dog out here, huh? God-Pharaoh's Gift. Yeah, we've been just getting beat up so far today, Jack. Our deck's not felt particularly impressive. Like, we'll see here. I feel like if I lose this game, I'm probably just taking this deck and spiking it into the garbage can. But, like, if we win a game that looks like this, it might be worth exploring here. Because, like, this is our deck doing the thing, right? So, like, if our deck can win when it does the thing, that's, like, the bare minimum. I suppose sequencing isn't great, because now this is pro-black and it gets a free block. And here, like, you know, like I said, our deck's actually getting to accomplish the thing. And in my mind, so, like, one of the differences between the last time we played this and playing it today is we've added Yorion to this deck, right? And there's a big question in my mind, like, if we're trying to, like, do this same thing every game, is this actually adding value to what we're trying to accomplish here? I also, something that a part of me wonders is, like, is the Gate to the Afterlife plan actually good in this archetype? Or is just, like, this good enough? Or maybe this is better and I don't need 4 Gate to the Afterlife if I think this is better? But, like, going up to 80 cards, like, the value Yorion aspect of this deck does not feel good enough for this format. I have not played games with Bant Spirits off of Streamleech Life, so my opinion or feelings on Bant Spirits hasn't changed since the wrap-up the last time we played it. Pretty much 100% of the Magic I play these days is while I'm broadcasting. The only games I really play off-stream are mobile games, which these days are Raid Shadow Legends and Runeterra. Bottom Watery Grave and his land. Yeah, I agree, Delic. So far it feels like the competitive thing we're doing is Scholar getting back on Pharaoh's Gift. And this has not felt like it's done anything practical for us. So, the nice thing about God-Pharaoh's Gift, Mr. Photon, is it's not as immediately all in as what you're describing there. So like, Rise of the Dark Realms costs 9 mana, and 9 versus 7's a big difference, right? Like, there's plenty of games where, especially with Phyrexian Tower, where we're, like, able to actually just cast God-Pharaoh's Gift. Yeah, I haven't touched Mythgard in a while, King Fede. It took them a while to put out set 2, and then if I'm being completely honest, after after experiencing Runeterra, it's really hard to get into another game that has the Hearthstone pack cracking predatory monetization model. Like, I liked Mythgard as a game. I understand they're an indie company that, like, has to turn a profit, but, like, booster packs to acquire digital cards is stupid and predatory. It doesn't matter if Mythgard's doing it or Hearthstone's doing it or Magic is doing it. I'm gonna kill Spirit Dancer here as opposed to Bounty, because if they have Kamatra's Blessing, they can't save it. They can, however, sack this to save it, which is fine. How does Runeterra work? Yeah, you just actually just get to buy the cards you want. It's this really weird novel concept. And not only do they just let you buy the cards you want directly, but they charge very fair prices. The 4 rarities of cards in Runeterra cost 10 cents, 30 cents, $1.20, and $3. And the $3 cards, you can only play 6 copies of per deck as a deck building restriction. So your decks tend to be very cheap. The game's incredibly consumer friendly. More to my point, the refurbished versions of God-Pharaoh gifts were mild better than Gate to the Afterlife and Standard, so the broader point was Scholar and Unburial Rites refurbished could make it. Sure, I could see that blue is the color. Are wobbly to the extent into standing. No, it's relatively stable when it goes up, Caboose Man. Yeah, people who have free-to-played the game have also said it's very free-to-play friendly. Let's see if we can kill this Spirit Dancer the 3rd time. You have a blessing. Let's take a peekaboo at what they've got. Okay, well, they're out of protection. It's good. Okay. Definitely bidding Scholar. Am I also bidding God-Pharaohs? You think I'm bidding God-Pharaohs? And then I can chump block this. I guess if I kept God-Pharaohs and I drew a land, I could cast it next turn. So they're gonna do this and escape something here. There are a couple of choices. I assume they're gonna get back protection. Yes, they know about the Orient, so they're getting back Selfless Savior. Oh, they also have Bounty. That's gross. Okay, so... I think I'm just doing this. Okay, do I ditch the Yorion here? So I can Unburial Rites the Sphinx gets back the God-Pharaoh's gift, the God-Pharaoh gift gets the Yorion. You put the lime in the coconut and drink it all up. That's the plan. Alright, we're gonna draw that one for next turn just in case. Wait, this is a token, right? Oh, but it's a Vizier. Okay, that's fine. It's not embalmed, right? This is an actual Vizier. Tokens around it. Okay, good call. A lot has changed since my first sub 15 months ago, but still love your content. I'm happy you're doing Runeterra and excited for Call of the Mountain to shake things up. Thanks for the 15 months, Axe. I appreciate it. Alright, feels like we're gonna win this game, huh? Yeah, keeping 2 colors of creatures untapped to block is pretty important. I think I'm just doing this for odd. Oh, they didn't make this indestructible in response. It's a pretty big oopsie. They've dived down, sure. And like this is another thing too, right? Like I still haven't hit a we're this many cards into our 80 card deck and we still haven't found a our exert creature, right? Yeah, Combat Celebrant is just still just missing. Now, the downside to this is if they have protection, we do die here, potentially. It's a good draw. Where are the Combat Celebrants, chat? Where are they? Where are they? Alright. We're good. We got him. Ha! Got him. We get to go to combat again. So that's the combo aspect. It's like you're supposed to do that. Yeah, are you playing it with Yorion, Jack, or without? I feel like I want to cut the Yorion aspect. This does not feel good. It's not infinite combat steps. It's just a lot of combat steps. No, they're not. You can only exert combat once per turn. You can only exert combat once per turn. And again, in addition to no Yorion, it feels like this aspect of bringing back God-Pharaoh's gift feels like the better aspect of it. Yeah, Yorion's just very much diluting our chances to combo, it feels like. If you cut Gate, you could lean into Ashiok to mill yourself. Yeah, I think that's probably fine. Part of the reason why the red-black aggro deck is good is because it gets to play Ashiok as a self-enabler as well as hate card for the opponent. And then, like, if I'm not playing... If I don't need a bunch of creatures for Gate to the Afterlife, I can play stuff like Thoughtseize. And other cheaper interactive cards, get to a reasonable number of lands, so I can cut like 5 lands here. So like, and then this is the hard part too when you're not a Yorion deck, right? Is it kind of felt like Yorion was like in here too in a way because it was like, well, it's easier to play Yorion than it is to be an adult and make cuts. Because like now I look at this and I'm like, okay, well, I'm at 20, 25 lands. Conch, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Like, all of the cards seemed kind of okay, but like I put in like this and Thoughtseize and like, okay, now I'm here. Ashiok is less than 4. I can see that. Is it... Do I just play less than 4 Celebrants? And just, like, assume we're gonna win a lot of games by, like, reanimating the rest of these idiots and having a bunch of 4/4s? Hey, good games, Conch. Good luck with the rest of your laddering today. Mire Triton's been good. Yeah, I can see that. I like Mire Triton as a card. Played him in a lot of other lists too. Death Touch is stellar. Yeah, we just like trim around the edges. Something like this. I mean, to be fair, we probably play more historic than most other channels on Twitch, so it's not that much of a surprise a lot of people playing on the historic ladder end up here. I'm not skeptical that this archetype's competitive. I'm skeptical this archetype's competitive, JMP. Lumbering Falls, thanks for the 22 months. We did play Hostage Taker the other day, and it was sweet. What were we playing Hostage Taker in? Scarab God? We were playing it with Scarab God, right? Nah, I'm not really into speedrunning, Johnny. No, we played it in the Scarab God deck that we worked on. We want to cut white. Chat. Unburial Rites is what makes the deck work. This is the reason why there's white cards in the deck. This is a white card. Because we're self-milling it a lot of the time. This is 12, 14, 15. I'm going to make decisions here and get out of the deck building portion of the stream before I start yelling at chat, because chat is being chat. There's a reason why I do all my deck building off stream. This is 16 blacks, probably plenty. 14 white. Probably cut this island. Alright, people that have been here a while that keep asking me questions, is X better? You know better. Don't make me tell you your idea is bad. Tell me why your idea is good. Sell me on it. Don't make me lecture you and tell you that it's bad. Yeah, lands that make 2 mana are pretty good. It's my opinion on Rest in Peace. I'd be surprised if Rest in Peace is better than Grafdigger's Cage generically in this format. And that's obviously an opinion that can change depending on what decks people are playing. But at this current point in time, I don't think decks where you need Rest in Peace as opposed to Cage are very good. You've seen 0 copies of Rest in Peace, which is... I don't think that's wild at all, Jack. Like I said, I think Rest in Peace is much worse than Grafdigger's Cage, especially with the amount of collected companies and citadels that are running around. Doesn't surprise me at all that you've not played against much Rest in Peace. I don't think that card's very good in this format at the moment. You know, I should probably put the tower into play just so I can sack this in response to something like an Exile or a Legion's End or something. You want to see this sick value play, chat? We're going to sack the Stitcher Supplier and Unburial Rites this Champion of Wits. Or we can get that one now. Not both. Sure, gonna grab 2 Field of the Dead here. Oh, they're bogging me. Rude, but sure. My 5 flyers is just like kind of okay, chat. It's fine. My 5 flyer. Hey, thanks for the 28 months in the tier 2 bandit. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Okay, well, I mean, if their top card's a brick, they're dead, right? They just, like, take 5 twice. Oh, I should have left this up. Scale of 1 to dead, what are we working with here? Rude. They're not dead yet. I don't have another thing to go get. Hey, I don't know that they have it out here, but they weren't dead that turn. Okay. Bye flyers, chat. Pretty good. God-Pharaoh's gift is not legendary. Things, it is not legendary. Is Massacre Wurm good here? Baneslayer is one of the best cards. Yeah, flying creatures are great, Tom. Like, again, the people that are complaining about fielded in this format, I just don't understand them. Not at all. Well, I actually do understand them. I just think they're very silly. My current snack of choice. So I actually don't really get to eat snacks anymore because I am currently in a little under a year of doing Invisalign treatment. It's been a long time since I was able to snack. So do I Thoughtseize on 1 or do I tapped land and then Thoughtseize on, and then tapped land Thoughtseize on 2? I think I tapped land on 1, Thoughtseize tapped land on 2. I think is my plan. Okay. They do have Bojuka Bog in their hand, worth noting.
Has never stopped me.
Alright, so Unburial Rites, please. That's actually kind of a bad beat, because now they can bog me and get rid of 3 of my Sphinxes. Very possible that 24 lands is too few in this deck that we're playing. 25 to 26 is more correct.
Your final terror is upon you.
See if they have their Hour of Promise here. Yep. Are they dead? Pretty close to it. Okay. Triggers. I want more Massacre Wurms, chat. We're gonna play some more Massacre Wurms. Y'all hear that lawnmower coming through, right? Alright, do they have a counterspell? If they don't have a counterspell, this worm in my hand kills them, right? We tried an Arcfiend Hollow One deck. We've not. Just attack with Worm, they can't block. Well, they just chump block it and they go to 2, right? Or they trade here. I don't have enough mana to double reanimate. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't have 8. Okay. Bye, friends. Can someone please ban Field of the Dead? Like, can you believe that this card is legal and allowed in this format? Like, this is unacceptable, chat. Can someone please get Wizards of the Coast on the phone and ban Field of the Dead? It is oppressing Timmies everywhere that Field of the Dead is legal. Who thought this was okay? Alright, so what am I doing? Thinking about how these are playing out and what I want to do. I definitely want at least a third Massacre Wurm. Honestly, it might just be right to play all 4 as long as Field is a thing. I don't think I want them in the main deck, but I think I just want 4 of them. Yeah, do I want another land? I'm on land 20. I'm on 24. I probably want another land. I think I'm everboarding in Counterspell. Duress is actually probably better than Stroke. Definitely want an extra blue source. Nah, I think I want the resource efficiency of Duress. I think the Surveil off of Erasure is pretty minimal. Now, I think I'd rather have a Temple if I was going to play a tapped land, but I think I'd rather just have a basic island. It's the most AKR deck cards we played today. I have no idea, if I'm being honest. That's not something I really keep track of. Yeah, we had Blue Desert before. Maybe that's better than the basic. I can see that. I cut it because I didn't want just a dedicated blue source when I went down to 24 lands, but you're right. If I'm playing a dedicated instead of playing an island, that might be better. Hey, Stamp It. Thanks for 19 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. He took my God-Pharaoh's gift. Oh, my sweet summer child. Ipnu Rivulet is the Blue Desert. Yeah, I definitely think the opponent should have taken Ashiok, especially if they have had Dreadhorde Arcanus. It's a pretty big mistake. I guess that explains why they left Ashiok. Still seems loose. But sure. Thanks. Appreciate you. Sphinx cannot recast Planeswalkers, right? It's only instant sorceries and artifacts. They're gonna get to Croxus next turn. Like it's not nothing. My graveyard is not well stacked here. I really needed another turn with Ashiok. But I mean, like, even this is just like great, right? Like just like turn 5, 10 power worth of flying creatures. Like your move, Yugi boy. Yeah, like this was like, okay, this permutation was like less than optimal, and it's still fine. Or like we didn't have the best turn 5 we could have because Ashiok didn't get another activation, like, we're here. They're just conceding because we get to get our stuff back. So I would like Massacre Wurm. I would like my extra Ashioks. This is probably a Combat Celebrant out matchup, huh? I don't think we need the combo in this matchup to like get lots of attack steps. It could honestly. It could even just be right, like, looking at this, like, maybe you're not a combo deck, and you're just a Reanimator deck, right? Like, you don't need the Combat Celebrant aspect, you just, like, want to Massacre Wurm people in the main deck. I could see that better. Like, maybe this is good in matchups where you're racing, and you want to board some of them. But I could definitely see there being a world where you just, like something close to this is your main deck. Like, maybe with Thoughtseize. Like, I don't want Thoughtseize in this matchup, but like maybe you have Thoughtseize in your main, and it just looks something similar to this. Like, we just keep killing, like, we could just kill people with, like, Massacre Wurms and Sphinxes, right? Yeah, the combo is Celebrant versus Control. I can see that being very reasonable there. Yeah, either way, the deck definitely feels better without Yorion. Alright, so they should take Citrus Supplier here. As you will. Get Thoughtseize bugged. The Thoughtseize bug, for people who are unfamiliar, is a holdover from Paper Magic. They wanted boomers to feel at home, where if you Thoughtseize your opponent, they'll immediately redraw the cards you take with Thoughtseize. So keep that in mind when you're resolving your Thoughtseizes. Yeah, we'll see if they have the piece of exile a target thing. They're mousing over my graveyard. They could have the escape card. Is usually what these Pyromancer decks play as their form of graveyard hate. Yeah, cling. Nope. Do the worm. Triggers. Yep. I like where we've ended up at, chat. I like where we've ended up at. I'm glad we kept hammering. I'm glad we kept hammering. The last deck was bad and had a short run, so we're going to play this one for a little bit extra. I don't know that I ever mulligan Citrus Supplier on one. Sign me up. I would like to draw a Champion of Wits so we can bin these. Yep. Okay. Sir Calbino, thanks for the 4 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. We have not found a Sphinx yet, unfortunately. Whoa! They didn't kill Ashiok. Alright, 4 draws at Sphinx, please. Swing and a miss. Yeah, opponent is almost certainly a Citadel deck. Zach Attack, thanks for 17 months, by the way. Yeah, this will be another matchup where Wurm is often great. Are they dead? They might be dead. A couple of Viziers. So we cast this. It's a shame we couldn't get this other Combat Celebrant into the bin. So this happens. I don't think they're dead, and they could definitely kill us next turn. Whereas if this had been a Massacre Wurm, we likely can't lose this game, right? If this had been Massacre Wurm. Are they dead? We have one more Celebrant, so I think they do actually end up dead here. Yeah, they end up dead here because we have another Celebrant. Okay, so like, barely lethal, but we squeaked it out. Am I supposed to pivot off of Celebrant here? I feel like with how many blockers they can have, it's probably not good on average, right? Is that wrong? It feels like it's right. No, chat, you can only exert this card once. Chat, read the cards. Read the magic cards. This is not an infinite combo. Please read. I promise you, magic will be... It's busted. Magic is much easier when you're illiterate. Here's a question too. So I think their deck's gonna get empty-handed frequently. Instead of Thoughtseize, would I rather have Extinction Event? I know Thoughtseize feels really good early, but I feel like having more cards that play to the board might just be better. What do we think of this board plan? I kind of like it. I guess trying not to die right away has some upside. Like they have some very explosive draws that like kill you super early. Now I definitely want the 4 Thoughtseize or 0. No, I'm not interacting with them. We're definitely just like if we're interacting with their board or nothing. Well, I don't think there's merit to interacting with Citadel. I think if I'm interacting with it, it's via Thoughtseize and nothing else. Hey, the Thoughtseize isn't on the draw. Maybe we'll reassess when we're on the play. I don't think it's worth playing red mana, that's why I'm not doing it DTC. Reading is very strong in this meta. I agree. We did get our first Shillionaire the other day. Beansy is Hoaglandia's first Shillionaire. Beverly Shills. That's where we want to be. Just shilling. Honestly, like, in the games where they don't have a quick Citadel, just, like, casting Massacre Wurm for 6 mana is, like, probably great, huh? Uh-oh, we drew Citadel. This is the part where they combo kill us, for those that haven't seen the opponent's archetype before. So they scry with Woe Strider, and then they fill the board up, and they put things into play like Blood Artist, and then they sacrifice 10 things to boss the Citadel and kill us, he says, before his opponent bricks off. Well, now, like, I don't have anything to do this turn, so, like, the odds of them bricking off again next turn are just, like, absurdly low. So, didn't die there, but about to die. Their Explore creatures also let them filter the top of their deck, too, as well, which is great for them. Yeah, and their odds of bricking from here are basically nothing. To be fair, shillings haven't existed for 2 years. They've existed for a little under a year. Yertle the Turtle, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. I'm going to play a turn behind for the sake of my life points. Duck Doolittle, thanks for the 3rd of a year. Maybe we just double Thoughtseize this turn. Let's take a look at what their hand is. Take their mana. There are things that help them find mana. You must not have been paying attention. Avocado, the opponent's archetype definitely existed before Avacyn restored before AKR happened. Not Avacyn, before AKR happened. It existed for a little bit now.
I am that which nightmares. Your final
Kind of expecting them to trophy this and then be able to attack down my Ashiok here.
You will be haunted by
Bye, friends. Oh, they're sacking the thing I wasn't going to kill. God bless. Alright, so 12 to 22. Next turn we can Unburial Rites Scholar, which is nice. If they elect to Assassin's Trophy my Wurm, I can then eternalize Champion of Wits here too, which is nice. Yeah, that's true. It gave them a scry and it drained us, and it probably wasn't doing anything in the face of the worms, so I don't think that's a completely unreasonable play on their line. Not strictly a mistake. They definitely need some help to win this game, I think. Cards like Trophy and Field of Ruin are why you want to play a couple of basics in your 3-color decks in this format. Yeah, they were scrying towards the land to get Wowstrider. I think I'm eternalizing Champion of Wits over getting back Scholar. Scholar doesn't really accomplish anything at the moment. I guess Scholar flashes back Thoughtseize, so if this is a Citadel, we could tag that. Feels loose, though. I feel like I'd rather just do this. I don't know. I guess if they play Citadel next turn, I'm pretty likely to die with the Wowstrider in play. So maybe that's wrong. Don't forget about Settle out of their green-black deck. Could be wrong too. Maybe it's just supposed to stay at 10 or 12, so that way they need a Blood Artist to kill me with the Citadel activation, because now I just died to a regular Citadel activation. There's been some slops this turn. There's been different permutations of things we could play around. If they go land Citadel here, I feel a little silly. Yeah, but they could have had Citadel in hand and then drawn a land on top, chat. So again, I feel like I'm ahead right now. And when, generally speaking, when you're ahead in a game of Magic, you want to think through the permutations of ways in which you can lose the game. And when you're ahead, figure out how you can no longer be ahead. Where we started definitely wasn't good. Where we've ended up here today almost feels okay. I don't hate where we've ended up at. So they're going to company before combat here in case they find a Rex Sage. Thrashy boys, sure. I'm supposed to attack with this too, just force more blocks, probably. Because getting their life total lower in the event that they draw a Citadel means they're less likely to kill me. So even if they like chump this with the 3-2, it means that they'd be at 7 from the Massacre Wurm trigger. That's true. Worm static text does stop them a little bit. So do I want to attack with this? If I attack with this, they could trade it here. That's probably not something I'm interested in. I think I'm supposed to keep the worm, you're right. And then, so you'll note that I didn't play my Ashiok out yet, because if they scry top during combat, I'm gonna mill them. I can offer the trade with Wurm and then bring it back with Rites. Okay, that's a good line. I could attack with it pre-combat and not play a spell pre-combat. That could be fine. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. You know, Creamy McCrunch, I heard there's this really sweet website that hosts a well-maintained list of historic deck lists that has a green-black X mid-range Explorer deck that's not a sack deck on it. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't quite put my name on what that website was. It has, like... It has videos on it, too, so you can watch the decks played. It seemed pretty sweet when I checked it out. Bottom Cruel Celebrant for now. Yes, I guess we'll never know. Can I take their Bajuka Bog? Is that a play? Is that allowed? I'm supposed to wait a turn on this, because they can bog me. Probably supposed to wait a turn. One main deck Ashiok, please. One main deck Ashiok, please. How's this deck felt today? We started with a medium list. We've ended up in a place that feels kind of okay. If we draw an Ashiok next turn, we'll be in a very good spot. If we don't draw an Ashiok, we're probably dead. I'm gonna refrain from showing them more of my deck. I only have 2 in the main. Yeah. I feel like the more I play this, I think I'm gonna rebuild. I think I'm gonna change it to be closer to this game 1. I don't know. I don't think this is worthwhile. I feel like I'd rather just be doing this. Just like Massacre Wurm, God-Pharaoh's Gift. Than like board into the Combat Celebrant plan when it's good explicitly. Yeah, I think I kind of like the 75 we're playing. I just want to like shuffle what's main and what's side. Do you have a favorite tribe in Magic? Yeah, fairies. Spellstutter Sprite. I have a framed Spellstutter Sprite somewhere in my home. Atris, a reasonably powerful card to provide values. Sure, I can see that. I don't know. I feel like with the number of other graveyard decks going around right now, and like these decks with their Hour of Promises, I just want to max out on Ashiok in the main. Ashiok's just so good at what we're looking to do.
This is my masterpiece.
My masterpiece. Yeah, I think being able to play this card as a main deck enabler is one of the reasons why, like, red-black aggro is so good in the format right now.
Behold, my epilogue of fear.
So the problem here is they're gonna attack Ashiok, and then they're gonna play Hour of Promise and Bajuka Bogas.
My victory was but a dream.
Oh, excuse me? Okay. I been the God-Pharaoh's gift because I thought they were going to empty my graveyard. As you will. Why do we care about Maelstrom Balls? Do you not see my 11 power in play, chat? Oh no, not languish. How will I ever win the game now, opponent? Please don't languish me. Oh no, not Ugin. How will I ever win the game now? I can never beat Ugin. They definitely should have bugged us. 10 out of 10. Definitely should have bugged us. Hey, Tistamet, thanks for the 2/3 of your support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping us around. What do I bottom here? Is it just like bottom a land? I keep my spells. Nailed it, chat. Nailed it. Swish. Yeah, we're so smart and thin. Let the greed consume you, chat. Greed, for a lack of a better term, is good. Never forget, chat, they ported the Thoughtseize bug from paper. Keep that in mind when you're deciding what you're going to take. Just like we drew it up. Do not be afraid to use your Unburial Rites on champions and even on Stitcher suppliers in this deck. We've definitely reanimated things that mill us or sculpt our hand a lot while playing this. Thanks for playing. Bye, friend. I really hope WotC bans Field of the Dead. There's definitely no counterplay to Field of the Dead. And it's definitely not people being upset for no reason. Alright, so, this deck, thoughts on it. So, my gut that this is the most powerful thing to be doing with God-Pharaoh's Gift, I think that's likely spot on. I also think, as just a generic metagame thing, I think Ashiok as a card in this format is just really good right now. Like, with Field of the Dead being a top contender with Hour of Promise, and there just being so many graveyard decks right now, this card is just very, very good. And then, when you add that to the fact that in this deck, Ashiok also enables our graveyard shenanigans, it feels very, very powerful. So, I think... And this is the thing I'm not sure on in this deck right now, is I am not certain that I need this Combat Celebrant kind of package out of the sideboard. I feel like having this package in the sideboard is likely very good in the control matchup, which is something that I would assume we would struggle a little bit in. But I feel like game one against creature decks, I'd honestly rather just have Massacre Wurms and Ashiok to turbo through my deck into the bin. I think this is like 6 mana, especially if you like draw your Phyrexian Tower, is like not a lot of mana. There's actually 14 white sources in here right now, right? Am I on 14? This is 8, 10, 12. I might want another tower. I have 11 things to sacrifice to it. It's possible another tower could be good in here, but I think something along the lines of this core is what I would look at. I think I'd turn Isolated Chapel into another tower. Yeah, the clone's been okay. I don't know. With more Massacre Wurms than me, I don't know that I really have a spot for the clone necessarily. I feel like I'm pretty happy with this mix of cards, but I don't know what the appropriate number of, like, these things over here and, like, the appropriate number of, like, these things over here is. So if you want to work on this, I like this 75, but I by no means have confidence in which parts are your game 1 and your game 2 cards. All right, at any rate, I've got another sweet one coming up here next. We're going to take a quick ad break while I get things set up and flipped over. But when we get back, we are going to play some Tiny Devils featuring Tiny Bones, the Trinket Thief, along with Zerzoth, the Chaos Rider. So we'll be back in just a few. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. If you don't know what these cards do, I'm going to update Stream Decker here in just a second. They'll be up there. Be back in a few minutes with some games with this.